It's your boy JAKX, and this is the Bar Exam. Album reviews, mainstream and local. Without further ado, let's get this shit started. Let's get this show on the road. A little bit of difficulties right here because I got my charger charging up, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Got my little charger, you know, man. Yo, we gonna get into today. Freddie Gibbs, new album, You Only Live Twice. Whew. Man, let me tell you, straight off the album cover, you can already tell, man. It's pretty simple to see. There's a stripper, there's people holding up their phones, there's police arresting some dude, you know, and it looks like some gang shit. You know, they got some red flags everywhere, you know, so you can already tell, yo, he's leaving one life and starting another. Is it good? Probably. It kind of looks like that because he's referencing, you know, some biblical imagery, some religious imagery. So, and I gotta say, you know, that was what I thought before listening to it, and I can say after listening to it, he really did follow that storyline, you know, and he really did follow, I would say the main theme on this album is change. And it's really showing how he was, you know, showing where he's changing, when he changes, and you know how that transition. So he shows where he was, when he started to change, and how he changed, basically. So without further ado, let's get started. Man, this shit starts with the first song called 20 Karat Jesus. You can already tell it's just gonna be hot from the way that shit starts, man. Just wait for that drop, just wait for that drop.
Yeah. My ambitions as a rider, nigga. Surviving off that powder, nigga. Currently smoking that kill. In the hills where you can't find a nigga. Crack cocaine, microwave. Then I was on that time, nigga.
Oh, man. Jesus, you already can see his flow is on point. Freddie always got that flow on point. Up to the point where people be probably jocking. I ain't gonna lie. People be jocking. And he be claiming that on this album too, on the second track, as a matter of fact, called Alexis. But yo, back to this first track, 20 Karat Jesus. He's basically reminiscing, you know, about how he came up, you know, the street life, the fast life. You know, he's reminiscing and telling you how he came up, what's happened to him, you know, things like that. Favorite line on this track is called, or not called, but this is how it goes. He says, designer bags under my eyes, nigga. Right? I think it's somewhere around here.
Bags under my eyes is designer, nigga.
Bags under my eyes is designer. Bruh, that's fire. And that relates to that 24 karat Jesus, you know. I think this track kind of means that, you know, he was looking at good. What he was looking at good before was gold plated, you know. His bags, you know, his pain were, you know, them shits were gold. You know, they were designer bags, you know what I'm saying? It's like he was in that lifestyle, living lavish, you know, trying to show off and shit, you know. So he's showing all of that on here. Crazy thing about this track is somewhere around the middle. That flow, though. So somewhere in the middle, this happens. And you think this shit's gonna end, right? Nah, son. Think again. Comes back with some shit. Listen to this track, bitch.
Quarter brick, half a brick, holy shit, oh shit. Scar across my face, strap on my shoulder, on some Tony. Taught myself to street.
Jesus Christ. 24 karat Jesus in the air. If you saw my reaction video, man, that one was better. But yo, 20 karat Jesus, yo, this track is hot, man. He starts it off, you know, breaks it down and then brings it back. It's almost already relating to the you only live twice. You know, it's kind of showing two lives there, but the topic still remains from that, you know, Gangsta Gibbs type of vibe. You feel me? Track 2, Alexis. Hard.
I think niggas.
He comes with that real shit. You know, hardest line on here is, the realest niggas I know never sold dope. So he kind of starts to already see, you know, how, you know, his mind state is changing. And the realest niggas he knows now, when he thinks about it, when I come to think about it, it ain't the one selling dope. It was other people, you know what I'm saying? Who's he talking about? Listen to the track, man. But yo, he displays his crazy flows on this track. He does that slurred, fast, kind of slow flow. It's pretty trippy. If you kind of want it, I mean, he does this a lot, but if you really wanted to kind of go deep into this shit and create meaning to everything, that slurred flow, getting a little clearer towards the end of the album or somewhere, you know, because he kind of like doesn't use that flow too much towards the end, where I think the change, you know, the album goes from, you know, it goes from the beginning to the end, so from where he was to where he is. So I would say that slurred flow, he does it in the beginning, so it's almost like he's changing into, you know what I'm saying? But yo, check it out, check it a little bit out. Oh, that was the line right there, hold up. You feel me? He's almost preaching on this shit. Like what I did before ain't the shit that I believe in now. Might as well have said that, you feel me? I mean, that's the flow and that's the topic. So anyway, track 1, track 2, he's kind of like doing that Gangsta Gibbs shit, you feel me? Track 3, Crushed Glass. Listen to the vibe. You hear that? Listen to the first vibe, first track.
My last 200 on a burden of a Mercedes Benz. My dog used to pull up in the 99 GS 300.
It's like an intro, so it's kind of smooth, but it doesn't relate. Watch. Then he does this beat, right? Then he does this beat. You feel me? Those are all, they kind of got that same vibe. It's the Gangsta Gibbs vibe. Then he hits you with this shit on Crushed Glass. Shit, I'm sleeping on the clouds right now. That's how I feel. Elevating. This track, his album cover is basically the imagery. You feel me?
The future started yesterday, nigga. Every minute feeling different, now I'm not the same, nigga. I admit that I was timid at a younger age, nigga. Daddy asked me what I wanna be, I said a pay, nigga.
Jesus, bro. You see, on this track, the change happened already, man. He already knows what he did. He knows where he's at, and he knows what he has to do. He comes full circle on the mind state change on here. He sees his mistakes, and if you listen closely on the hook,
living this life is me, myself, and I. And if I gotta be by myself, I'll be alright.
The future started yesterday, nigga.
he says level up in the background, further proving that he's past the level, he changed already, or he's in the transition. You know what I'm saying? So this track, man, he uses those same 4 lines from the first verse on the second verse to tie it back together. He really does tie in the whole album very, very nicely. I really appreciate that and I love it. Future started yesterday, nigga. Only thing I can say about this track and a few other tracks on this album, he says nigga way too much. Way too much. He kind of sounds like Juvenile on that one track. Ha? Was it Ha or was it... You know what track I'm talking about, where he said the same damn word after everything. Besides the fact that, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be that crazy since now rappers are like, yeah, what is that? Besides the fact of what is that, people are doing it nowadays. Even Kendrick did it on his new track, Humble, and he used the ad-libs as part of the verse. Whatever. But the word nigga, though, come on, bro. You Birdman? Come on, man. You got 5 stars tatted on your head? Come on, man. You a lyricist, bro. You Gangsta Gibbs. You got so much street shit in you, bro. You don't have to say. And plus, if you're going to continue, you know, this storyline of you going from this to that and going from here to there, then why are you still saying nigga? You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck that word. That word ain't shit. That shit, black people hate it. I mean, anyone who's sympathetic to what happened to black people back in the day, slavery and all that shit, why the fuck would you still want to use the word? Man, I grew up using the word too. You know, that's just a word from the hood, and a lot of people in Miami use it. And I guess it's not as disrespectful if you're, you know, Hispanic, but still, like, I don't use it anymore on my music because it's not. I ain't trying to support the use of that word any longer. So that's the one downside to this album. You know, Freddie, I think you could, but it's typical to the flow that you usually do. So whatever, bro. But if you're trying to elevate, level up, then do it, man. Do it full. Do it all the way, man. You know what I'm saying? This track is hard though. This is the change. This is where the change happens. Track number 3. He decides on this new path, you know? Has that repenting type of vibe, you know? The hook though.
Living this life, it's me, myself, and I.
You don't need nobody.
If I gotta be by myself, I'ma be alright.
I'ma be alright. I'ma be alright. Alright. Yo, hands down, anything Pharrell touches is golden. Unrelated to this track, but let's keep it going. Dear Maria, next track, track number 4. Check my notes right here. He continues it, man. You can tell from the vibe already.
Yeah.
Another common theme I'm starting to see is when he uses the singing, it's going along with this type of vibe, with the smooth flows, with the smooth beats, with the tracks that are about change. This track certainly, if you had to guess, yes, it's about change. It's about his new vision.
Yeah. Tryna get my cash up, yeah. Tryna get my cash up,
One cool thing about this track is his ambition, man. You really feel like he's taken that street ambition into his new way of looking at life. So that's fucking dope. If you could channel that type of energy that you were doing with bad shit, you know, it's like when you have a bad habit or a bad addiction, you know what I'm saying? Take that shit and turn it, you know, take that same feeling, that same passion and push it into something else, man. Trust me, you can do it, man. I smoked cigarettes for a year and for a year. I've quit for a year. Happy as fuck about that. Woo! I'ma live, you know, a little bit longer at least. But I smoked for 6 years, man. And that shit was horrible. I was dying. And that effort, I put that shit into getting back into music, bro. And here I am doing all this, you know, so do it, man. Redirect that ambition, bro. That's what you gotta do. So it's good to hear Freddie on this track continuing, you know, the change path. So he's on this path now, but he's pulling that energy to continue on this path and take him. That shit is fucking dope. Super dope. Check out the hook. Super dope. Game ain't gonna never change. So he knows, you see? He continues that. He knows that he's fucked up or that life is fucked up and he has to change. You know, he already knows. You know, cool thing about this track again, by this time in this album, you already are infected with Freddie's fucking flow. The way he starts every track is dope, by the way, too. He starts off, bam, like with his flow is just really, really fast the way he starts always, you know?
Yeah.
It's like this. You know what I'm saying? Then he hits you with that quick drop. Nasty. Nasty. I love that. Super dope. Next track, Amnesia. This track is my favorite track. But this track is my favorite track because he does this crazy ass flow that I'm about to show you guys. It's on an AABA pattern, but not with the rhymes, with the flow. And not necessarily, well, yeah, with the flow. So he does like a slow flow, fast flow, and then a slow flow. I'll show you right here how he does it.
I just perform people, I got haters, niggas that proceeds. Money made me forget I got amnesia. Hey, made me forget I got amnesia. Quarter million worth for two, these niggas lease. Also, I got haters in the place. I just perform bitches that proceeds. Money made me forget I got amnesia. Hey, quarter million worth for two, these niggas.
Oh, wait a second. It starts right here.
Money made me forget I got amnesia. Hey,
Ready?
quarter million worth for two, these niggas lease.
A,
Amen, put 20 more carrots in my cheeks.
A,
I got the quarter kilo when I beat it to pieces.
B,
Fed snatch nigga up, I caught him deep.
A.
Back to back to back.
And then he hits it with the typical flow. This track is cool because he adds that really dope flow. That's a really cool scheme. I don't think I've ever heard that before. And I'm not sure he's done that before, so that's dope. When rappers push their flows, that's like the best thing, you know, on top of lyrics, obviously. But flows is what keeps the listener very entertained and into your shit and not get bored of the typical 16 bar verses, which are not even too common anymore. You know what I'm saying? Usually now people are doing 2 verses and a nice bridge or something, you know, different. And I think that works better, man. The 3 verses, typical format of rap songs, that shit don't work no more. I, for one, abandoned that setup a long time ago. Now I just do 2 verses, 2 hooks, maybe a 3rd hook in the end, a bridge somewhere in there, I don't know. Sometimes I don't even do that. But I haven't been making too much music. I do got this one track out, Off Rip. Check it out right now. I think I should be linking it up here right about now. So check it out. If you haven't seen it, let me know what you think. Drop it down in the comments. But yo, this track Amnesia though.
Time. Baby mama in the skybox inside, bitch 6 courtside. I'm in H-Town, let her ride a rock, got a bad bitch on the north side. Fuck pack down with a vice lord on the west side.
This track, man, it's like he's making fun of the new niggas, you know, the new style. My bad. I know what I just did. I know. But yo, it's like he's getting rid of this. I'm not rid of this. What am I saying? I got all twisted up knowing that I fucked up. So, my bad, all right? My bad, dude. Shh. Alright. So, on this track, he shows that he can do everyone else's styles, man. It's like he's playing with them. It's like he's toying with you. And he does that crazy ass AABA type flow that I showed you guys. That shit is dope. The other thing too, on this track, Money Make Me Forget I Got Amnesia. It's like he's relapsing. You know, it's like the temptation is there for him to go back to his old life. You know what I'm saying? Because you have the first 2 tracks where it's Gangsta Gibbs all the way. You know, what he's been doing, you know, what he was doing when he was coming up. Crush Glass, Dear Maria, the next 2 tracks, 3 and 4, he shows you how he knows what to do, where his new mind state is at, where his new path is gonna go. He fucking changes. You feel the change in track number 4, like legit. And track number 3, really, you feel the change. And then Amnesia, it's like he comes back and he's like, damn, bro, I just relapsed, man. The money, fucking that feeling that money gives me makes me want to do bad shit. You know, it makes him want to go back to that, you know. So this track is pretty dope though, man. It's witty as fuck. He said, I fucked 4 bitches in 4 seasons. In the bleachers. Come on, man. That shit's hard, you know. It's like he's feeling that shit again. He's like, damn, man, I can't leave this lifestyle, you know. But yo, next track, Andrea.
Yeah, rock solid, nigga. Solid as a motherfucking rock, bitch. Yeah, nigga. When you fall, who you gon' land on? Niggas foundation is shaky, ain't shit to stand on. A man's born with the only guarantee to live and die.
I mean, he does his shit on these next 2 tracks, Andrea and Phone Lit. they also blend very nicely, a nice ass transition in the end, which I'll show you now. However, I feel like these two tracks are kind of like an intermission between him having his amnesia and his, you know, current state of mind and where he wants to take his life, his second life, where he claims you only live twice, so he's gonna live his next life, you know. And this is like an intermission, you know. He's kind of like telling you how he feels, and then this transition that happens on this track, Andrea, is pretty dope. The first part, this is his voice, and in the second part, his voice changes. Here you go. I've been trying to fuck her for a month, but she ain't on shit. Starting to make a nigga feel like I DM the wrong bitch. This deep voice to me kind of feels like that temptation again, like the devil's pulling him back in, like that bad vibe, like that bad lifestyle, that fast lifestyle that he doesn't want anymore, the ones that his niggas want for him, that got him into all his trouble. It's like if that's pulling him back. But yo, check this transition to the next track. This shit's flame, oh fire, flames. Next to my bed, I'm sleeping by my own shit. Dope and cocaine and powder off it to the wrong shit. I just dropped a 50 pointer in and got my phone lit. Got my phone lit. Did you notice the change? It changed, yo. The next track is called Phone Lit. This track is dope. I can't help to think of Two Phones by Kevin Gates just because of the fucking phones. I mean, who's last person that did a song about phones is him, so I can't help to think. And it's not anything out this world, you know. These two tracks, Andrea and Phone Lit, kind of like fall. I'd say they're the weakest tracks on the album. They feel like an intermission. They don't really help the overall thesis or concept of the album. But on the bright side, man, this last track, Homesick, is one of my favorite tracks, along with Amnesia and along with Crushed Glass. You know, Crushed Glass is my favorite because it shows the change. You really feel that second vibe of the album, that twice life, the second life. You feel that. Amnesia is dope because when you're trying to fight, everyone fights temptation, and that's a cool, you know, way to show the battle between the two lives. You know, relates very much to the concept and enforces it, solidifies it even. And Homesick just brings it full circle, man. The change finally legitly happens. You know it. If it's not by him talking at the end of the album where he literally tells you what happened to him and shows you how family is more important to him now than his niggas, you know, than his people back, you know, where he was thinking they were gonna greet him with bitches and all of this shit, and he was just greeted with problems that he had to face, man, and he wasn't about that shit no more, you know what I'm saying? Him talking at the end of this album reminded me of Kendrick on To Pimp a Butterfly when he had the interview with Tupac, and how that kind of like wraps the album up, you know, and begs the question of, you know, what's your role gonna be once you've been this bad kid, a good kid in a mad city, and, you know, you had this great influencer, Tupac, you know, who showed you how to get out of that thug lifestyle. How are you gonna, what role are you gonna take? How are you gonna, you know, continue that legacy, that mind state? And this album kind of like follows that same feeling, that same kind of concept. And when he talks at the end, it really does the same effect as what Kendrick did on his, and begs that question of what role you're gonna take now that you're in the second life, you're in your second and your twice life. Are you gonna be true to what you say? Are you gonna leave that shit behind, or is temptation gonna keep fucking you up the way Andrea and Phone Lit kind of fucked up the album? You know, it worked on Amnesia, but 6 and 7, I could do without those two tracks, man. Just leave that shit as a 6-track EP. I would have loved it, man. Straight up. Right after The Temptation, maybe you hit me with one more Gangsta Gibbs track or one more Temptation track and then Homesick, I would have been happy as fuck. But this track, you know, right from the get, it has that different sound, so I'm gonna let you hear real quick. Oh shit, this is phone lit, my fault. Homesick, here it goes.
Yeah. Hey man, man.
Anytime you start a song with a phone call, you know it's gonna be deep. You know it's on some fucking recollection, fucking new realization type shit.
Yeah. Big damn motherfucking watch, man. Yeah. When I call you out, that
You hear that? The singing, the angelic voices, that's how you know this track is gonna tie in with that change theme that I was talking about with Crushed Glass and Dear Maria. Listen to a few of these first bars to get how his vibe is.
Niggas get him watching a couple chains, Nicky harder than you. Drop the jewelry, grow some dreads, Nicky smarter than you. Please yourself and please your homies, man. What's harder to do? Did some things in life I know I don't want my daughter to do. Shit.
See, man, he's learning, man. He finally got the change already. He's homesick. He wants to go back home. He wants to be a father now. You know what I'm saying? His life changed. This is dope. This album, man, I gotta hit him with the Gladiator. Bow! Gets a thumbs up. Freddie Gibbs, You Only Live Twice. Great album, concept. Bars, he had some bars in here, man. I'm not gonna lie. He had one line where he talked about hitting the pussy once and always having it like Wi-Fi. You know, like the Wi-Fi code. That shit is dope. That was sick. He has some bars in here that are gonna go over people's heads for sure, just because of the nature of his flow, being fast and kind of slurred and shit. But he's not really much of a simile metaphor type guy. He kind of just hits you with the street knowledge bars, you feel me? And that shit's hard too. I think this was a great album. It relates a lot to All American Badass, Joey's last album. Because of the way it's put together, the whole concept is very eminent, it's very fluent, it's very well put together. With the exception of Andrea and Phone Lid, track 6 and 7. It's like an intermission though, so it's not that bad, you know what I'm saying? But it does, it's like if you got into a run-on paragraph and weren't talking about shit, forgot commas and everything, and then got back to like a perfect ass conclusion, you know? But it's dope, man. I'm happy for this album. I'm happy for his comeback. He claims that he's back at the end of this shit. So
That's the thing. Erica flew all the way over.
he's talking all this.
I ain't going nowhere.
He tells you right here.
I ain't going nowhere this time.
Oh, I missed the I'm back. Hold up.
Love for that.
I'm gonna let you hear it out the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
And there it is. He's back. So be expecting more Freddie Gibbs. Be expecting some dope ass, concept albums. I hope he continues this. I hope he follows that path and doesn't get amnesia again with the money, because he's over there getting, his phone's lit and shit. I don't know. He got 20 karat Jesus chains and shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But good shit, Gangsta Gibbs. I hope you can make that transition now in your second life. I hope you're not homesick anymore. I hope you're home and your phone is lit and you get to work, man. Good shit. I give this album a thumbs up. I'll see you on the next album review. Peace.